Oh, Japan!
What's this?
Refrigerator.
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 Refrigerator. Aced it.
Refrigerator. Dude, I'm still watching. Dude, I love this one. Don't change.
Not in the daytime.
Wait. Yo, look at her face.
Selling tickets to my downfall. Selling tickets to my downfall. Selling tickets to my downfall. Selling tickets to my downfall.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Hey everyone, long time no speak. Quick announcement. I, Alex, currently stream every day-ish on Twitch. I stream anime games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, we talk about weeb opinions, I call you garbage, same old, same old. I'm currently trying to get the Twitch partner, so if you can, I'd appreciate a follow at twitch.tv/aminiassassin. If you can, consider popping in, having a good time, and just enjoying everything that goes on. Also, consider joining the Discord as we here at AniSins are running out of people to bully. So pop into the general chat, say hello, and we'll make fun of your memes. Links are on the screen, in the description, and the pinned comment. As always, I appreciate all of your support, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So, before the unsubscribed 13-year-olds tell me to kill myself for insulting their favorite shonen, I'm just gonna preface this video with this. My favorite anime is the Full Metal Alchemist franchise. It is the #1 show on my anime list. It's one of the most popular anime of all time, and it's a widely adored shonen by both anime fans and those who just watched it for the culture. Why am I telling you this? It is not to just hate on the popular show of the year, you bitch. It is not to, you're just a part of the bandwagon and a hater. It is simply because recently there have been a lot of shonen that have been the most formulaic, copy-paste garbage that I can dream of. And to show what I mean, I will be delving into many different shonen from a variety of subgenres, which I feel are both successful and unsuccessful. Regardless, I hope you enjoy, and to the 13-year-olds about to tell me that I don't deserve to breathe on this planet because I made fun of Bakugo, please. Hit that subscribe button and that bell icon before you do. Equivalent exchange, am I right? I know you're all eagerly awaiting which shonen anime I'm gonna put on my AniSins naughty and nice list so you can screenshot it and brag to your friends that you have good taste, and you know what? I'm all for that. Most of your friends probably have shit taste anyway. But my classifications for a good shonen are pretty simple. At the end of the day, I care about 3 things. How vast the world is built, how interesting and in-depth the characters are, and how much, if at all, do the characters break the rules of their own world. And what better way to start this video than with an adventure anime? My Hero Academia. After having your eyes pummeled with My Hero movies, figures, OVAs, lewd Twitter, even if you haven't watched it, hell, even if you don't know what anime is, you've probably seen this show's Big Pecker at some point. A world where 80% of the population possess quirks, or random abilities, just to make things easier to understand. Our young, powerless 20% protag Midoriya, through an anime chain of events, meets the #1 hero in the world, All Might. Looking for a successor, All Might passes his quirk onto Midoriya, and from there on out, we meet so many new characters. Yes, so many characters that no one can remember jack shit about anyone. My Hero Academia isn't even a really bad shonen by basic standards. It's just so black and white, and that's its problem. This is hero, this is villain, this is Sero, this is Toga. Neither of whom you're gonna remember, by the way, because you're just gonna call him the guy who shoots fucking tape from his elbows, and the cosplay that I've seen way too many fucking times in 2019. The characters can't even be called one-dimensional, because they don't even have one dimension. Aside from our protag, they have one trait. Literally, that's it. I wish I was exaggerating. This is the frog thing. This is the formal brown nose guy. This is Sasuke guy. This is comedic relief guy. This is shorter comedic relief guy. And this is the character everyone thinks is super deep and complex, but is actually just an angry asshole guy. Oh, and she's invisible. You know, that's it. She's invisible. That's it. These characters are so forgettable that they need to remind us of who they are literally every time they show up on screen. I wish I was lying. New character appearances, old character appearances, intermission cards. No matter where I look, they are reminding me of characters and their quirks, and I still can't remember anyone besides Stain. Stain happened to be a very interesting villain in Season 2. Without going into too much, his motivation, thought process, and reasoning was a breath of fresh air compared to the garbage that came from both before and after on the hero and villain side of characters, like person who needs some chapstick guy. And don't even get me started on the second half of Season 4 guy. Even taking Stain into account, I don't think the world of My Hero is that in-depth especially for 4 seasons. The characters are completely uninteresting and uninspired, but I can give credit that there isn't much that breaks the rules of their own world. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's good. It's just another 2 black and white shonen for its own good. So Alex, what do you think does a better job? Great question. Radiant is another adventure shonen that actually went under the radar in the 2019-2020 season. Seth is an orphan sorcerer who was raised by another powerful sorcerer named Alma, neither of whom remember anything prior to her adoption of him due to an incident that occurred during Seth's childhood. So, in order to discover the mysteries of himself, he goes to train to become stronger and meets pretty interesting characters along the way. I know what you're thinking. Alex, this sounds like a completely cliche start! And you know what? You're 100% correct. This show does follow cliches, which is not inherently a bad thing. It's only bad when it's the only thing going for you. While this show does have everything you'd expect with a shonen, like crazy power-ups, protagonists with amnesia, hell, they even got this fucker falling in water in the opening like he's from Naruto. However, one thing that really grasped me was how the world was set up. Sorcerers fight nemesis, black and white creatures supposedly from a planet called Radiant who want to hurt normal civilians. Normal civilians hate sorcerers because they get their power from nemesis. Inquisitors are normal people who protect civilians and hunt sorcerers who abuse their powers. Within this power circle, there are so many different instances of characters stepping out of their role to help another and force the audience to think about who is the real enemy in this world. It leaves surprises for the viewer despite having its cliches, which I think My Hero Academia lacks. One show breaks barriers and roles for their characters, whilst the other just stays put, keeping it bland. Hence why I chose to compare these two. By no means do I think Radiant is a perfect show, or hell, even an amazing show, but I think it demonstrates how to be cliché and yet still interesting at the same time. This is also my reason as to why I love Season 2 of My Hero. Stain was a perfect example of a villain that made the viewer think. Within the first season of Radiant, there's so many genuine problematic topics in the show's world building, such as overreach of power, xenophobia, the power of fear, and the second season expands on this by going to the other side of the world and showing alternative ways of combat, whilst progressing with Seth and his crew's growth. Despite its cliches, if you'd like to watch a shonen that will provide fantastic world building, unique character interactions, and a show that doesn't break its own rules, I recommend Radiant. However, shonens aren't just limited to action-adventure anime. If I told you that there's a show with JoJo voice actors, with a cast of multi-haired colored characters, all of which have different powers. One person has the power to disappear. One has the power to copy anybody he sees. Another can break your balance with his multi-dimensional eye. And characters can enter a Super Saiyan powered-up like state. If I told you that, you would have never guessed that the show was about fucking basketball. Kuroko No Basket and Haikyuu, arguably the 2 most popular sports shonen anime ever released, I believe have very clear differences that make me more drawn to Haikyuu rather than Kuroko. At first glance, Kuroko definitely wins in terms of drawing in the viewers. Just the intro alone is super enticing and seems like an exaggeration, but it's not. And that's the problem. Kuroko No Basket is just nonsense. The coach of the team sees a person's physical abilities just by looking at them, and they appear in numbers? And she could see their potential future lifespan, number of kids, and their wives. It's ridiculous! I don't want to drag on too long, because I don't want to ruin the fun of seeing all this crazy shit for yourself, but I'll just leave you with this. For my first 2 points, while the characters are likable, they're relatively bland. However, the world building is solid, with a lot of exploration into different teams and vicinities. But what killed this show for me is the third rule. It just doesn't make any sense. It breaks its own rules constantly. These are meant to be normal high school students with no superpowers, and yet I feel like I'm watching the craziest basketball media I've ever seen. And I've seen fucking Space Jam! It doesn't even follow the rules of basketball. Goaltending, traveling, it's got it all, but since they're doing their superpowers, the refs don't notice apparently. If you want to watch it for the ludicrous bullshit that happens under the guise of basketball, sure. But if not, I recommend a show with a much more human and actual sports-like factor. Haikyuu finds a way every episode to draw me in, whether it's how well characters interact with each other, their growth while at training camp, or the actual sports-like feeling I get, unlike fucking Naruto no Sasuke over here. While there is one character in the show with near-crazy abilities, it's one that I can let slide, since the others actually have such a basic yet abrasive strength to them. Whether it's just being a good jumper, being a smart defenseman, or being the team clown, I think these types of human-like traits are what sports anime are watched for. I'm not trying to see what would happen if Goku and Vegeta played a sport. I could just watch a Dragon Ball Super filler for that. I watch sports anime so I can see the sport played in a proper yet interesting way, and Haikyuu definitely brings that to the table. With a large amount of growth, fantastic synergy, a big commitment to showing the audience how each character improves, and a perfect amount of screen time for other teams and players, this show's characters are a delight to watch. A lot of the show takes place playing against a variety of schools all over Japan. However, my favorite thing about Haikyuu is understanding more about the sport in an interesting fashion and a large majority of the time being able to think, hey, this seems humanly possible. Unlike sinking 3-pointers from anywhere on the court 100% of the time. I've been wanting to talk about Shounen for a while now because everyone thinks I hate them for some reason when that's not the case. I just know how much better they can be when the mediocre ones don't win Best Anime of 20XX award. Now before the death threats start rolling, no, Demon Slayer is not a god-awful show. My problem with Demon Slayer is... it's like if someone offered you an unsalted plain cracker. Some of you would say, sure, it will fill my stomach slightly and does not taste bad, which is perfectly understandable. But the other portion of you, including myself, would say, no thank you, I'm sure there are restaurants around here with fantastic food, and if I'm going to ingest something, I would like for it to have taste. Demon Slayer revolves around Tanjiro, a boy who lost his entire family except for his sister who has been transformed into a demon. However, for some fucking reason, unlike the other demons, she doesn't require human blood, and hypnosis works on her, I guess. So she's on the human side now, deal with it, I don't know. Now Tanjiro and Nezuko are working together to help her become human again. This show has no taste. It's just there. It takes no risks with characters, fight scenes, or world building. Not taking a risk isn't a bad thing, but it also doesn't do anything for the viewer either. It doesn't add any spice to it. And this is why the second there was a 5-second clip of mildly interesting animation, anime Twitter took to flight in the masses and was like, oh my god, this anime is amazing! As if anime Twitter knows anything about anything anyway. If you call this guy anything other than borehead dude, you deserve an award, because I forgot that shit mid-watch. With uninspired characters, a world unexplored, and rule-breaking senses of smell that can fucking detect anger?
Are you angry?
Demon Slayer is definitely a show to watch that anyone can ingest and understand without a single thought. But if you really want to have those cogs turning, my shonen recommendation for you is Vinland Saga. Yes, it is a seinen, but since it was originally published in a shonen magazine, I'm counting it. Fuck you, I really want to talk about it. Vinland Saga revolves around Thorfinn. After an incident between his family and Vikings, Thorfinn ends up being raised by the very Vikings who harmed his family. Vinland Saga is the most thought-provoking show I have watched this year and a personal favorite. By exploring different countries all over Europe, characters' paths are constantly intertwined and there's hardly a single detail that the viewer should forget. While some characters are mysterious through a consistent pace, everyone slowly but surely shows more of their true colors to the viewer and are an absolute pleasure to watch. I still need to rewatch it for a third time since I'm positive I missed details in my first 2 run-throughs. Although it is bloodier and more violent than your average anime, it still manages to keep the audience questioning everyone, which I feel is a fantastic way to keep the viewers intrigued in a good shonen. With a vast world, incredibly complex characters, and hardly anything breaking the rules it's created for itself, I can't recommend Vinland Saga enough. This show is proof to me that episode count is not as important as people make it out to be. For this 24-episode show cares far more about its world and characters than the 26-episode Demon Slayer, or the 88-episode My Hero Academia for that matter. If there's another genre you'd like for me to discuss, please let me know in the comments. Also, as I mentioned at the start, I'd greatly appreciate a follow on both my personal and the AniSins Twitch as I'm trying to hit partner. My personal Twitch is a mini assassin, and it's on the screen, in the description, and the pinned comment. For the AniSins Twitch, we want to do more podcasts, more discussions, some Among Us. It's going to be a fun time, especially if we can do it with viewers. So if you'd like to see that, please consider dropping the AniSins Twitch a follow as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. Have a great day, and remember guys, it's just my opinion. You don't need to wish death upon my entire clan for insulting Attack on Titan. I promise it'll be okay. Stay safe and stay healthy. See you in the next one.